Thank you so much for joining me. The first question is, what is your name?
My name is Jenny.
What high school did you go to and where are you at now?
So I go to UNSW and I study a Bachelor of Advanced Science and Arts. So in my science degree, I major in psychology, and in my arts degree, I major in criminology and minor in politics and international relations.
I'm giving you permission to be a little bit of a show off here. What subject did you state rank in?
I state ranked in legal studies. I came fourth in the state, and I did Ducks Hornsby Girls High School with an ATAR of 99.8.
Any particular mindset going into your last year of high school, and whether you had any fears or expectations of
So I
yourself?
think naturally going into year 12, I think a lot of people have lots of different fears and stuff going into year 12. Like I remember I thought that like my year 12 year, my HSC year, this was like what like all my efforts throughout high school has culminated in. So there was like a lot of pressure in terms of like this is the time to like show like whatever like I've achieved over the years in terms of my academics. This is the time that I need to like be able to replicate my previous years of academic success, and I needed to like do really well because this determined my entire future. Like that was my entire like my mindset going into year 12. I think it was quite similar to like my mindset like all the way through high school. I remember like in high school, like even in the younger years, I had like a lot of anxiety going into year 12 because like everything was like year 12 was seen as the be all and end all of my high school career, of my entire like not even just high school career, like school career. Like I remember like talking to my psychologist in year 9 about HSC because I was like really anxious about it. And it's looking back now, I'm like, damn, like year 9 Jenny should have just been having fun. Like she shouldn't have like been so stressed going into year 12. So I guess like one thing that I found difficult, like going into 12 is like kind of, I guess, managing that pressure, but also trying to enjoy my last school year, like my last high school year. Cause like obviously high school, like after year 12, you're done with it. Like you never experience it again. So I really wanted to be able to balance those two.
Did you have any distinct highs or lows from the final year of high school?
One of the highlights of year 12 for me were the school carnivals. Like I know like all throughout high school, a lot of people like really don't like the carnivals, but I just really enjoyed it as a celebration of like sport, celebration of like house spirit and all that kind of stuff. It was fun like running like my 100-meter sprint with these like massive lashes on, and I could just feel them like flash, like just like flapping in the wind while I was just running. So I mean like yeah, the carnivals were a lot of fun and like definitely a really enjoyable experience. I think in terms of lows, I was definitely going through some things at home at the same time as my like HSC like year. And I think it was really difficult, like balancing sort of my home commitments and sort of like my emotional struggles at home and sort of my emotional struggles with like school and like trying to achieve or like trying to sort of meet the peak of my academic potential, right? Like I think there was a lot of pressure on both sides to like attend to both needs. And I think what I would say like now would be like, you know, it's everyone has like everyone's life comprises of so many more things other than high school and other than the HSC. And I think it's important to be kind to yourself and let yourself like have these moments where you are upset about like family and all that. It's important, I guess, to keep a holistic mindset and understand that even though your HSC year is like, there is a really strong focus on academics, it's not the only focus. And it's important that you look at other aspects of your life as well.
A little bit of a fun question. Did you have any pre exam rituals or superstitions during year 12?
Yeah, so I remember like I just like color coded my notes. I was very, very particular about color coding my notes. So like each subject was like a different color. And like if I had to like so like I had like page numbers, and each of those page numbers had to be in those colors, but I could also only highlight in those colors. So if I went to school and I didn't have that color of highlighter, I would refuse to study that subject like unless I had that highlighter with me. So like that's the superstition, I guess. But also like pre-exam ritual. I would always like make sure to wish people luck like in the hallways and stuff. But if they did not wish me luck back, I felt like I lost that luck. And so I would make them wish me good luck back, because otherwise, like, I've given my luck to them and I don't have luck for myself. So like my pre-exam ritual, like I have to get other people to wish me luck back. And I'm pretty sure that's the key to my success.
Are there any personal or academic tips that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I guess like in a technical, practical sense, I think it's really important that like you don't get lazy, like you do end up making your own notes. Like I know a lot of people within sort of like I tutor a couple kids now and they always like get notes from other people, and that's something that I discourage like a lot for my kids, just because like I think making notes is a huge part of the process. It helps you process your in-class discussion, helps you process your in-class like notes that you've taken, and sort of condense it and summarize it in a way that like makes unique sense to you. And I think like making your notes, like for me, the making my notes was like half of the study process, and actually memorizing it was another half of the process. Like I think making your notes is just as important as memorizing the notes. So like I highly recommend making your notes and sort of like not cutting corners, in the sense that um I didn't like memorizing my essays because I felt like that limited me a lot like during exams. So I would prepare like themes or like paragraphs, or like with legal studies, I would prepare like different issues rather than like entire essays to bring into my exams, because then I can like pick and choose which issues I thought were best suited to the question during the exam, so that my response directly answered the question. Because I feel like a lot of students, when they memorize essays, like a lot of the time they're not answering the question like really closely. And I think that's like a big thing that markers look out for, because I'm sure markers are aware that lots of people memorize essays going into exams. So I think it's really important to like make sure that first you make notes, but to like try not to cut corners and like memorize memorizing whole essays, I don't think is the best solution when it comes to preparing for the exams. One thing that I also really recommend is like engaging within the classroom. Like I know some people might be more shy. They might be like, they might not want to raise their hand and answer questions in class. But sometimes when you engage really closely in class, it helps you memorize things, because you have not only, this is like a psychology thing, like studying, it's like you remember like the episodic memory, right? It's like a memory of like an episode of something that like actually happened to you, as opposed to like semantic memory, like memory of facts. So like your episodic memory is actually more easily memorable to you because it's something that you've experienced. So like I think engaging in class actually helps you perform better in exams. I think making sure that you look after yourself, taking a step back and reminding yourself that, you know, this is one small chapter in the broader scheme of my life. And like I guess sometimes I think for me, like crying to my friends or crying to my family, or like even crying to my teachers. My teachers saw me cry countless times during the HSC. And like I think it helps to like process my emotions, to like not just bottle it up, and like to
Mm,
look after myself, make sure to check into myself with myself, sorry,
mm,
and like not let myself get to the point where I'm like completely overwhelmed. Yeah, I think just
mm,
making sure to keep tabs on my mental health, and
mm.
making sure that I also have other like passions and aspects of my life.
If someone only has a few weeks or days left to study for an exam, how might they make the best use of their time?
Something that sort of helped me approach teachers and be able to ask them questions to clarify any kind of confusion is the realization that they are really just like us. So I think one thing that like you should never be afraid to do, I guess, is to like whenever you have any kind of confusion, or like you perhaps want to get even like additional feedback on your exams or stuff like that, it's always good to like maybe contact your teachers, send an email, organize a Zoom call or something like that, to go over that feedback that you perhaps didn't understand or you want elaboration on. It's definitely something that I've done before, and it's definitely something that I found really helpful, because I think when teachers are marking, they're obviously marking a lot of like sort of exams at the same time. So like sometimes the feedback is very brief, and if you want sort of like really helpful feedback, like that's personalized, I like reach out to your teachers. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you out. because they understand how stressful HSC is as well, and they want to support you as best as they can.
Could you share a quick word, or is there something you'd like to say to those going into their final exams this year?
I think definitely good luck. I think now is a time to be now. There's never a time like more important to be kind to yourself than now. Like obviously these are very unprecedented circumstances, and if you're not performing like the best like academically than as you ever have been, like it's okay. Like there's this time is like a really difficult time. Like I know I've struggled in lockdown, like emotionally, in terms of motivation, like everything. So I think understanding that everyone is in the same boat and like it is okay not to be at your peak potential right now because of the current circumstance. Yeah, I think that might help a little bit. It's definitely helped with me. I think another more niche thing in terms of like motivation, because I know I've been really struggling with motivation, is I have like affirmations like on my wall over there. And I think just reading them out to myself when I do feel that lapse in motivation helps me a little bit. Like I am statements where I'm saying, you know, like I am strong, like I am energetic, like all that kind of stuff really helps me to find that push, to find that drive. And if not, like study calls with friends also helps a lot.
Final reflective question. So, thinking back to where you were at the end of high school, is there anything that has surprised you about yourself and where you'd be? And what would be one piece of advice you'd give to your year 12 self?
I think like I said about sort of my mindset going into year 12, I really thought like the HSC was the most important thing ever. And I think in retrospect, like I think one thing that surprises me is like how like I guess how much can change after the HSC. Like the HSC doesn't determine your life. Like it doesn't like if anything, it's just like a hurdle to get over. One thing that surprised me is like I guess like how big the world is outside high school. Like I think I've had so many new experiences beyond high school, and I've like volunteered, for example, with lots of like student societies, lots of volunteering programs, and I've met so many people that like I really never thought I would meet in like outside of high school. Like I think my view in high school was like very like it was a bubble. Like high school for me was a bubble, and I only knew these like 120 other girls for like 6 years. I remember like sitting in high school, like in year 12, everyone telling me, you know, hey, just see, isn't the be all end all, you can transfer, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think I can really say that. Like, I can really say that I believe that now because like it, yeah, I like half, like most of my friends aren't where they were like when they just graduated high school. Like I think one of the things that I'm a big advocate for is just sending it, right? Like if you're like honestly, like if you're scared to do something, just like, you know, send it. Like I like honestly just do it. Like you have nothing to lose. So through my send it attitude, I've learned to care about more things. Like I feel like in high school, I focused a lot on academics. Like academics was like one of the things that I cared a lot about. And as I sort of progressed through uni, I got scared because I was like, I cared less and less about academics. Like obviously I still care, but it's not the center of my life anymore. Like, and I have like all these other things. Like I really like volunteering. I really like swimming. I really like talking to my friends. I really like spending time with my family. I really like watching Netflix shows. Like there are all these different things in my life now. And I think in that sense, I've grown sort of my appreciation for all these different things as opposed to like being solely focused on academics.